What is going on, everybody? Another car video. I figure I might as well do these while I'm out and about, because I just can't stay cooped up anymore. Well, while I was taking a ride doing some things, I saw this video from a channel I never heard before, but I wish the algorithm would push my channel like they do some of these other channels that I've never heard before. But video brought up a lot of points. I'm going to leave a link in the description below. And it was about fatherhood. It's about fathers. It's a woman who is a men's rights advocate and lawyer, has her own law firm, who is all women, and they all fight for men's rights in family court, divorce court, and those arenas. Now, anyone who's anyone who has been to a family court or through a divorce court, who has done this in opposition of the other party, knows full well, pretty sure this is across the United States, and if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments, that men are discriminated against when it comes to social services, when it comes to family court. This is the truth. It's been the truth that I've lived through, and I've spoken with countless other men who have had the similar experiences as myself. The conditions may be different. Circumstances may be different from case to case. But overall, gender norms, what we are taught, what we feel, what is instinctive within gender roles, have a lot to do with why men are discriminated against in family courts and in social services, divorce courts. All right, and that is because men traditionally are the providers. This goes back to tribalistic society, and I'm not saying that at points in history there haven't been women who have had to assume that role, maybe because of a lack of men, and women usually do. Women have stepped up in history when they've had to. When men have been off to war, women go to the factories. Women have traditionally, especially in World War II, in America, stepped up and did roles that were not a gender norm for women and performed those tasks. So this isn't, I'm not saying that women can't be providers. Women can damn well be providers. Women can do anything a man can do with the exception of impregnating a woman. But, and you know what? Isn't it fucked up? Even myself, even when I'm talking about, when I'm about to talk about men's rights and how, and these types of things, that I have to defend the conversation by stating the obvious, that women are capable. Women are capable. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. Men, traditionally, gender norm, are the providers, the hunters, the builders. We are built tougher and stronger physically than women to perform these tasks, to defend the home, to build the home, to provide what is necessary for the home. This is the truth of our species. We have strengths, and we have weaknesses. Women have strengths and weaknesses. A lot of times we are designed to play off of those strengths and weaknesses between our two gender roles. But because men are built stronger, because men are looked at as the provider, looked at in that way, in that gender role, in that gender norm, family courts look at men, and if you are a man, you're doing something wrong. If a woman is in there trying to take all the rights for the kids, if a woman is in there in a divorce, if a woman is in there, she is considered the pity. She is the weaker. She is looked at as inferior, which is sexist in itself. But because of that perceived inferiority or victimhood, and men are always looked at as the stronger, the aggressor, men are treated differently by social services, family courts, divorce courts, all that. Family court is the most corrupt and horrible court that there is, the most sexist, destructive. Family court is about the destruction of families, not protecting families. And if you ain't figured that out, you ain't been paying attention, or you've never had anything to do with family court, in which case, salute. I watched this video, and it got to me. It got to me emotionally. I've been through it. Now, every case is different. There were times I made mistakes, or I didn't fight as hard as I should have. And honestly, for my entire life, that's been baggage. Those are scars that not only I don't think could they ever heal, but ones that I don't ever want to heal. I want my pain. That pain reminds me how much I love my oldest. And the fact that it took until he was an adult for us to have a relationship. Which I always knew was the case. At the same time, because of the damage that was done by everyone involved, I still can't be as close to him as I want to be, even though I have full ability to do so at this point. Maybe that's my interpretation of events, but the family court system, throughout all of this, that time, I was always looked down upon. I was always the bad guy. You know, his mom could pop out as many kids as she wanted, could have as many babies as she wanted. She's the victim. If I chose when I was at family court, trying to get my payments reduced because I wasn't making as much as they. First off, they just tell you how much you're making. I don't understand how family court operates. You can give them pay stubs, and they'll say you're making more than you're making. I don't get it. But you know, I was having another kid, and that's basically what I said. Was like, I'm not making as much as you're telling me, and I'm also having another child. You know what I was told? Work 3 jobs, but she could have as many babies as she wanted, because that's the perception. No matter what, the woman is the victim. In family court, the woman is a victim. The man is stronger. He's supposed to be able to handle it. You got to work yourself to death. It is very important, my friends, my fellow dads out there who may be going through similar situations. It is very important that you understand that you're behind the 8 ball. To understand that when you go to that court, you are the bad guy. You will be discriminated against because of your gender. And depending on the vitriolic nature, if she has one, of the woman in question in this scenario, you may go through hell. You're going to have to be stronger than you've ever been in your life. You're going to have to fight adversity like you've never done it. Because these types of systems are built against you. While we are told in today's society by some that we are privileged, that we are given everything, that we get paid more, that we, have this ingrained patriarchy, this, what is systemic, whatever, by leftists. Understand that that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Step into any family court, and tell me that shit is true. They probably won't. And if you notice, most family courts are run by women judges, women commissioners, women workers. Like, the women are all up in there. The women are in there because it is geared toward women. Quite frankly, I think some men don't work in family courts because they understand that men get screwed. I wish there was more men working in family courts who gave a damn about men's rights. There are lots of families who are destroyed by family court. There are lots of single fathers out there who aren't given the same treatment as women in social services. Now, I'm not saying all people in social services are sexist. I'm not saying all people that work in family court are sexist. It isn't just inherently within that institution that because of the gender roles, the natural gender roles of our society, of the difference between men and women, that men are looked at as stronger, more, and are supposed to provide more. We're supposed to take care of baby mama and baby mama's extra kids, right? You're expected to do that. Baby mama can go have kids with dudes who are complete pieces of shit, who don't want to progress at all, who just want to live with baby mama and not work, or just run on baby mama and keep making babies with with baby mama. There are dudes out there like that deserve to be thrown the fuck in jail, that deserve to have the heat come down on them. But anyone who's been through family court understands that usually those dudes are let go. So they punish the ones that work. They punish the ones that try. They'll keep punishing you. They'll excuse baby mama keep popping out kids with useless dudes and won't even go after them useless dudes. They only punish the ones who try. Real talk. Just understand, my friends, my guys out there, my men, my fathers out there. You are behind the 8 ball. And I'm going to impart some wisdom to you for those of you that are going through what I went through, your worst case scenario, where you're basically threatened. Your life is threatened. The courts are coming down on you. Baby mama and family and certain people in the family make it as impossible a task as they can for you to have any contact with your kid, and then turn around and call you a piece of shit. If you're going through that, I promise you this, it'll be the hardest fight you ever had in your life, and you're going to be scarred for life. Don't expect that not to happen. When people come in between you and your kids, and you lose, for the most part, you're going to be scarred. It's going to hurt. And you're going to carry that weight the rest of your life. But there's a chance that when your kid gets older, that kid's going to come ask you questions. And I'll tell you this, the route that I took, I waited until he was ready. I waited until my son was ready, till he was old enough to understand the intricacies of social relationships, till he was old enough to be able to look back at the history of actions and the players in the game and understand them and go, yeah, I can see that. And that's when I had that conversation with my son. When I had that conversation with my son, I told him, as a responsible father, I told him to ask questions. I told him to not take everything I say as truth, even though it's my truth. It's what I've seen and what I went through. I'd ask him to think for himself. You should always ask your child to think for themselves. That's being a responsible father, a parent, mother. And he did. And we finally have a relationship. There's a chance that can happen for you. There's also a chance that can happen like to my buddy Chuck, where your son, his son grew up, which is crazy because his son has born the same year, got the same first name. So my friend Chuck and I, we lived through both some very similar situations, where he was the bastard and he was pushed out, and he's the liar and the asshole. In his case, his son came and saw him, got to know him a little bit, but then fell back into that, my dad's a useless asshole, he was never around, he didn't even try. Meanwhile, my friend also has a younger son like I do. Now, both of us took the experiences that we went through and applied it to our younger son. Ain't nobody taking my kid from me. Ain't nobody taking his kid from him. I will be damned. I will be damned if any family court, any institution tries to come take my kid, my second son. I'm a single father. That's my kid. I will turn the world upside down and make it rain fucking hell if anybody comes to take my son. I should have had that attitude earlier in life with my youngest son, but I was young, stupid, had no parents backing me up. I had no adults to give me advice. And all the adults on the other side of the fence were threatening my fucking life. Well, both of us took this in a different way. Chuck and I both, we took those events, we took that stuff that we went through, and we applied it to how we rear our youngest. Ain't no one taking our kids from us. So to you single fathers out there going through this, to you estranged fathers out there being pushed away, to you victims of family court, you victims of social services and their sexist practices, you're going to fight harder than you've ever fought in your life. You're going to be scarred. You're going to be hurt. You're going to be alone. You're going to cry. I know men ain't supposed to cry, but you're going to cry. Keep fighting, homie. Keep fighting. Keep your head up in the darkest of times. Live with those scars. Embrace the pain. Move forward. There is a light at the end of the tunnel, whether you want to believe it or not. Whether you believe it or not, as hard as you fight, as many jobs as you work, as much as you try to stay afloat, stay alive for your kids, no matter what the conditions are, you are worth something to your child. It is important for you to be in that child's life, no matter how limited it may be, or if you have to wait until later in life to be a part of that child's life. You are important. Your influence is important. And understand that there are so many other men out there like you who have been through this and are going through this. You are not alone, my brother. And to be honest, this shout out also goes to my sisters out there, to my moms that go through the same thing, because it's not limited to one side. There are women who go through this. There are men who have enough power and influence and money to drive that narrative against women. And for you mamas out there, this goes to you too. But from my experience and what I've seen, it's mostly men that are targeted by this sexist institution. Of that, there is no doubt. No doubt. It basically took for me to get my kid. All right? This is what it took. It took a drug habit, my baby mama drug habit, baby mama getting arrested several times, baby mama hanging out with drug dealers and just the criminal underbelly. Months of this. My son almost getting kicked out of school. What finally did it after my son being around drugs and criminals and bullshit that the state would do nothing about. It finally took her having to go to the hospital for a psychiatric review. Her parents took her in to 302 for a review because she was starting to get suicidal, doing too many drugs and banging this drug dealer that took her 5 years to get away from that piece of shit. That's what it took for me to get my kid, because I'm a man. Honest to God. If that had been me in that situation, the first time I was arrested, he would have been with his mom. Understand, man, you are behind the 8 ball because you are a man. Men's rights is not a pussy thing. Men's rights is a real thing. So support men's rights. Every time you hear these whack-ass far leftists out there bitching about the patriarchy and that shit, all right? Every time you hear that garbage, just remember, there are men's rights institutions out there. There are women fighting for men's rights. There are good women out there fighting for us. And what's a damn shame is that it takes people like this lady, the link I'm going to leave in the description below. It takes women like her and the women that she hired in her law firm. It takes women for men's rights to get recognition. You know why? Because you're a man. That's where sexism exists. I hope that this video was inspiring for somebody. You know, brothers, fathers and mothers out there who are fighting for your kids, fighting to see your kids, fighting to stay alive, fighting against terrible families, talking shit on you, coming down on you, and the law won't do shit or recognize any of it. Friends and family turn their back on you because they believe these shit-talking assholes on the other side of that fence, making up lies about you and threatening you and then saying they ain't and all that bullshit. I've been through it. There's thousands of us that have been through it. Keep your head up. You will end up being damaged for life. And I can't tell you whether or not you're going to be stronger on the other end, but I will tell you that you will be a survivor. And if you keep your head up, there's a damn good chance your child will see that. Be good, everybody. Wash your hands, wash your ass. And love to them, love to every parent out there. Peace.